Hey everyone, Ivy Lee Gaming here, and today we're playing Watcher of Realms. For today's video, I'm going to go ahead and talk about beating 8-9 of campaign. It's a tough one. So I went ahead and recorded my run. I kind of went back and redid it a couple days ago. This is a few days old. My account's progressed a lot since then, so I'm not going to bother showing it live. I'm glad I did a recording because, you know, I'm getting a bunch more 6 stars now, so it's going to become more and more unrelatable if my account gets too stacked when I try to show a normal stage of campaign. So here we are. Insanity. This map has a little bit of everything as well. There's all these light armored. The Priest of Rain is what gets me the most. The other units aren't so bad, mostly just common armor, not too crazy to kill. You just got to be able to handle the mobs of them coming in the first place, right? And that's kind of what we're going to talk about today, but mostly light armor. That's not so bad. So let's go ahead in here and see what worked for me. So I did go ahead and adjust to bring in some of my better units. I do have some legendaries here, but again, when I do these, it's not talking about the legendaries. It's talking about the strategy of how to deal with the board itself. So please don't get mad at me for using legendaries. It's what's on my account. I'm not a whale, I'm not a crack, and I can't afford to spend thousands of dollars to max out a bunch of people just for content's sake, and we don't have a test server. Alright, so we're gonna go in here and grab a friend unit, actually. I don't have a super strong fighter, at least not as of this recording, that I have built. I'll build a Demos eventually, but not yet. Dawn's okay, but she's only like 5-star as well, which is fine, but not my best option. So I actually went in and grabbed a fighter from a friend. So find your best friend unit that's a good fighter. Salazar, Zilla too, ideally, but also her. She's gonna do just fine as well. Valk's great. So first off, you're gonna want to place someone that can take out that very first boss that just popped up. So we're gonna aim my mage in that direction. You also could use a marksman, but you want to make sure that this mage there that you're very first placing is taken out by one person. My second placement was someone to protect the portal from the couple of guys coming around the corner. So that's where I brought in my other fighter, Dallin. And then my strong fighter, aka my friend unit, is going at the bottom there to deal with everyone coming out of that specific portal. Now, you can see things are about to get crazy, head into the main portal, so I'm going to put my best tank there, of course Baron, to deal with that. And then we're just going to start laying protection. So I'm going to try my best to protect my tank and my fighter here at this portal with my best healer, which is Vortex. And I really love Setram here. He has a great range, so I put him here to cover the middle of where the majority of people are coming in. And that's what I'm doing here with my other units as well. I kind of want to make sure we're covering as much ground as possible around the 2 portals, so that as the units come in, we're going to be able to handle the craziness. This is on 2x speed too, so you could slow this down to 1x speed and be able to handle it a little bit easier. Keep in mind, I probably should have done that for sake of the video. But at the top there, you'll see I threw up a marksman to try to deal with the extra unit that came up at the top, the extra enemy. And well, he didn't kill her in one shot, so I had to bring in another person to finish her off. But luckily, Comet could deal with the one that came to the other side, so we're good to go. So he's still filling his role, taking out the bigger enemies as they go around. But you can see there's another one at the top. Another one at the top as well. So we got to deal with that one somehow. Hopefully not going to kill my units. Keep in mind that they always attack whoever was the last placed unit. So you could even throw in fodder units just to be killed. Like, I didn't care that my Zealous died there. It's fine. He's going to do no damage. He barely was able to do anything before when I had him in there, so it's fine. He ended up being my meat shield, and he wasn't in a spot that's super important because luckily the other units can cover that ground as well. So in the end, he just ended up being my sacrifice, and that is what it is. But this is all about just, honestly, keeping an eye on the top. Because I put such a good unit down at the bottom there with Valk, she was just chilling, right? She was just chilling. So because she's a well-built unit that I borrowed from a friend, and I didn't really have to overly focus, that side of things, it allowed me to have less stress on all the units coming up to that center portal. And I would just keep an eye, use her ultimate when things got crazy. Whenever I saw her ultimate ready and there was multiple units down there attacking her, I would go ahead and use it. Simple as that. But mostly I was able to keep my focus at the top and keep an eye on those annoying enemies coming up, like the very last one there. So as you can see, I didn't want to risk anything. She was fine. She was dying pretty well. But either way, because knew we were on our last couple units, you'll notice there at the end, I actually pulled out the girl from the bottom because she has no more purpose. We're at 35 out of 36. There's only one boss left. That's where I went ahead in and just took her out and threw someone else in just to finish off the job. So let me play that real quick. So there's the ending. I just threw in Aang just to make sure he took care of that. And down there, we've got everyone else dealing with the very last lizard dude, whatever the hell he is. I forgot his name. Yeah, not too bad. It's mostly about covering the middle. And then as the big units come up out of the top, making sure you have someone to try to take number one in that one first position. Having a unit like I have a strong Comet there who is level 60, being able to deal with it. So you can see the damage here. He did most of it. And my poor Zealous didn't even do anything, okay, barely, before he died. But it's fine. Sometimes you just need someone that's going to be taking those hits and taking heat off the people that are actually doing the damage, trying to take out those bosses at the top. So that made a really big difference. So did I do this with a bunch of legendaries? Yes, I did. And are a couple of them 60? Yeah, they are. But guess what? It was hard. That's the reality too. So many people want to see these stages beat with a bunch of level 50 rares. Well, guess what? It's not going to happen. Sometimes these stages are tricky and you do need good DPS. And maybe you don't have a legendary Comet to take out that very first boss and to be the coverage for the whole rest of the run, while any other boss, I want to call them bosses just because they're like the extra tough ones that hit really hard. Why that enemy comes around, you want to never let her fully come around from that side, and he can do that. But you know what? If you don't have him, if you just have Iona, that's fine too. You're just going to need better gear. So at the end of the day, a lot of the times when you see us content creators trying to make these kind of videos and you see, oh my god, it's a legendary, that means it's not free-to-play friendly. If you don't have the legendaries, you're just going to need better gear. That's going to make up for the stat differences at the end of the day. So I really think that this was a pretty good run though and covered it pretty well. So let's go back and I'm just going to let this play through again. Why not? I think it's helpful to let people kind of get an idea of the setup, right? So I'm just going to quickly walk through again and talk about why we did what we did. Let's do it one more time. Again, it's not about having the perfect roster for most of these. It's understanding the strategies of what you need to do to beat this board. Now, I will give credit where credit is due. Sinister Angel, you guys might know them. My Buckets referenced them as well. They are very active in my Buckets community. They showed me a video of beating their stage. And I didn't even think to put someone down by that bottom portal. Everything else I was already doing, like trying to get one unit at the top here to take out the boss at the start. But at the time, I was not good enough. Even Comet, who's amazing, was not taking out the very first boss. So I just knew I had to get my gear better. Once I was able to do that, I'm like, okay, I can handle this now. Let's figure it out. But putting in this friend unit, a strong fighter at the bottom that's pretty tanky and can survive and do the damage, and then you never have to worry about it. It's just like, that one is an afterthought. These boards get kind of crazy, and being able to pay attention to all the different directions that everyone's coming at, if you can get rid of one more source of distraction, it just is really helpful. So as you can see here, all this whole time, what the focus was around the portals, except for Comet, who his job is to now deal with those ladies, right? There they go. And then I threw up the Marksman there. I threw up Theowen to try to deal with this one. But unfortunately, my Theowen's just a little bit squishy at level 50 as well. Not the best gear. I know he was in purple gear at the time. Probably a piece of blue even. So he didn't survive long enough to get one more hit on her. So boom, throw up someone else that's finished that one off so they don't start taking out other units. But you really have to deal with those enemies or else you're gonna be screwed because they hit hard. And the one that Comet just took out at the top, if we let her stay, then that poison rain would have been coming down like crazy and it would have made everybody die. And that's what I was dealing with at first. Because I didn't have one unit strong enough to take care of that one top left corner, I was having to deal with the poison rain, and the healer can only cover so much ground, and I was having to put in 2 healers, which was taking away from the damage I really needed. So in this run, I only needed 1 healer to just cover the area around the portals. Comet was strong enough to barely do damage, take a couple hits from those annoying bosses, but still take them out before he died. So that was just kind of my strategy here. And I did lose 1 person here. You can see this is I got a 2 now. So someone did get through the portal in this run, but luckily I had already 3-starred it. But that was the very last moment, of course. The last couple moments I was a little bit weak. If only my zealots didn't die there at the bottom, we would have taken them out and 3-starred that one too. But yeah, it's just a lot of practice, learning the strategy of what's going to work for you. Double coverage, triple coverage, quadruple coverage of damage over the areas that are getting the most amount of enemies, and then dealing with those heavy hitting bosses that just really, really smack. Let me pull them up. Yeah, like the Priest of Rain here. Oh my goodness, that's the one. You just want to make sure someone is in this top spot here, right? This top spot that can actually take out everybody. That was my biggest success and why I think I did pretty well with this one in the end. So I hope that's helpful. So someone up here on the left top to take out whoever, like these bigger boss guys, take out whoever starts going that direction. They need to be able to beat them before they get around to where it's too late. If you don't have someone that can do that, focus on 1 damage dealer that can have that role taken care of. And then the second role, my second placement was over here by this portal on the right. I placed a fighter, or you could place a defender that's going to deal a little damage that could take out the few units that start coming from this portal on the right as well. And then my third unit placed was, I think, the one at the bottom here that allowed for this portal at the very bottom to be fully protected the whole time. That's where my strongest fighter went, which was not my fighter. It was a friend unit. Take advantage of friend units. It's just so helpful. But maybe if you're still practicing and learning the board and seeing what's going to work for you and your roster, don't use your best friend unit right away because you can only use them once. So if you use your very best friend unit and you don't have other options, then you're kind of screwed for the rest, for your better one. Once you've got it down and you feel like you know what you want to do placement wise, then use that best friend unit and try to 3-star it. But hope this was helpful. I'm going to try to show some of these. I haven't beat the final stage of chapter 8 yet myself. I haven't even looked at it. I think I'm on like 11 or 12. I just didn't even push it. So I will try to record that process as well, but please understand I do have level 60 legendaries, so it's probably going to be a bit easier, but I know the strategy is tricky, so I'm going to do my best to record and try to figure out the strategy behind beating it, even with or without legendaries, right? Just keep in mind, legendaries are not the only answer just because I'm using that in my video, and it's really just going to mean if you don't have the best legendaries in the game, you're just going to need better gear in the first place, so it just might take a few more days of grinding and improving your characters overall. But that's been all for today's video, guys. I hope this was helpful, and keep in mind it's good to get stuck as well. Getting stuck is good. We have to have something to work for. If you could just blast through and be done every time, first try, that wouldn't be very exciting now, would it be? Where would the challenge be? Why would you be playing, right? But yeah, have some fun, guys. Hope this helps somebody beat it. Thanks again to my Buckets community and Sinister for the great little tips there. And I'll see you guys in the next video.